Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot, and yes, today is my 39th birthday. Yay, me. And for my 39th birthday, I figured we'd do a little short stream. Here's what it is, because I was thumbing through my phone earlier today after I was doing some stuff with the game, and came to find a story from, I think it was yesterday, the day before, about a local gun trafficker. At least that's what I'm calling the guy at this point, because when you're building a shitload of fucking guns, I'm pretty sure you're probably illegally selling these off to gangs, etc. is what it is. So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe they were personal use. I mean, he had a ton on hand is what it was, but the fact that he had like a CNC machine, or I think it was two CNC machines actually, and a drill press and stuff, and it's like, yeah, dude, you're definitely doing some shady ass fucking shit here, especially when you got like as they called it, obliterated serial numbers, which I've never heard that phrase before, honestly. I've always heard of like scratched off serial numbers and like unserialized firearms and stuff like that, because obviously unserialized would be anything before 1968, I believe is what it was, which is when the Gun Control Act became a thing in this country, and it wasn't until then you actually had to serialize firearms in this nation, which is kind of hilarious because the fact that when you look at shows like Boardwalk Empire that's set in Prohibition, it's like the third, I think it's someplace in the third season of that show, like the fourth or fifth episode of the series or whatever the case be in the third season, they have a dude that's supposedly like scratching the serial numbers off of 1911 that would be an unserialized firearm at the time in history. So it's like, this is the problem too. Hollywood doesn't know fuck all about guns, dude. Hell, I was watching old episodes of Dark Angel this morning, and bro, they're sitting there literally making a gun cocking sound on fucking striker fired firearms. And I'm like, bro, that has no external hammer on it. This guy is not cocking shit. Like, the only thing that would be worse is if it was a fucking Glock in his hand at that point, because it's like, they've done that shit before. It's like, yeah, how do you cock a Glock? That's right, you fucking don't, because it's an actual striker fired gun. It has no external hammer on it. You cannot cock it. So putting a cocking sound of a gun in there is fucking retarded, is what it is. So, anyway. I did make some bacon, though, for breakfast this morning. Unfortunately, I was sitting here getting the stream ready, and I think I overcooked a couple of these pieces because they're a little bit blacky. A little bit too burned for my my taste, honestly. I mean, I'm still going to eat them, obviously, but I prefer mine to be, more like this, obviously, where it's nice and brown and crispy, or actually the perfect one in this mix right now is this piece right here. Like, that's perfection right there, honestly, dude. It's like nice and crispy and, just really, really good, honestly. So, this one's not quite cooked all the way because it's got a little bit of fat still on it. That's the problem when you cook a bunch at once in a bigger pan. The heat doesn't distribute properly, is what it is. And so you end up with some that are like fully cooked and other ones that are like partially cooked. My sister-in-law probably liked that piece I just ate right there, actually, because she loves her shit underdone, is what it is, dude. And I will always give her shit for that, honestly. So, but I was debating wanting to make eggs or not today, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna make a. I was thinking about what I have around the house I can just eat as well, and then I got a little Danish thing from Aldi's here that I'm gonna have with this, and then a little pack of the Belvita crunchy breakfast biscuits, which I wish it didn't have soy in them, because it would be so much better if they didn't, honestly. So it sucks if they do. And so many other foods do in this country. Because dudes ain't supposed to eat soy, is what it is, dude. The only people who should have soy in their diet is women over the age of menopause. So, because it actually, even the chicks that are not in menopause yet, if they put a bunch of soy in their diet, it takes them closer to that faster, is what it is. So, but anyway, moving on to what we're talking about today, though, for this story. And it kind of does make me wonder what going to the story before we discuss the story itself is what it is. How they actually caught this guy. If it was the fact that he was selling to a local gang or something like that, and that's how they busted his ass. Because it doesn't actually say, it just says, like, basically ATF raided his ass eventually is what it was. So it kind of makes me wonder if somebody tipped him off, if it was like, you know, somebody saw him doing this stuff, if it was like some random gang, you know, one of them got pinched or a bunch of them got pinched or whatever the case be, and they were like trying to roll and turn state's evidence and shit like that to get a better plea deals, what it was then or something. Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting if they actually said that in this story though, but they didn't. So I can only make up the assumptions at that point. I mean, I know they're, and the thing is, it's not like there's not local gangs all around here is what it is. I know that for a fact, dude. Like, hell, in Stark County here where I live, there's a bunch of gangs in downtown Canton and stuff like that that are fucking around all the time. That's what I was kind of hoping, honestly. Like, when I heard this story, actually, I was kind of hoping I'd get like a phone call today and be like, hey, remember that gun you had stolen like, you know, 2.5 years ago? Like, we finally found it, man. That'd be funny if they did, actually. I don't think they will, though, because it sounds like what this guy was doing was actually manufacturing ARs is what it was then. And some of them happen to be SBRs without tax stamps is what it was then. Which kind of leads to a fact of like, okay, you know, if that's this dude's only charge, like that's his only charge is like basically saying fuck you to the NFA is what it is, dude. It's bullshit anyway, because the fact the NFA itself shouldn't even exist in this country because it was literally the last remnant of prohibition in this nation. You know? It was created in 1934, right before prohibition ended. It was like literally the fucking tax stamp, the $200 tax stamp, was directly an infringement on the Tommy guns, what it was, because that's how much Tommy guns cost back then. And they're like, oh yeah, this is the most popular fucking full auto they got out there. Let's go ahead and burden people like this is what it is. In a way, it was like two versions of backdoor gun control is what it was. Because it was a way to fuck over the everyman. People like myself that would have money back then is what it was, but not a whole lot. And then it was a way for them to half-assly go after the gangsters and stuff then too, like Al Capone, etc. there. But in reality, they couldn't even catch that guy on weapons charges at all, dude. What they ended up catching him on was some fucking IRS little dipshit. Found he did like tax evasion or something like that is what it was. And that's what they busted his ass on. And hit him with like the max sentence is what it was then. So yeah, they never actually got him for like... And that's the thing too, right? Like Al Capone was fucking nuts, dude. Like that guy killed like a shitload of people that were innocent people in many cases. Just to like, you know, assume power and maintain power and shit like that. And he was just fucking a lunatic, basically, is what it is. The thing of it is, though, what's kind of interesting as well in that one is when you look at Chicago during Al Capone's time and Chicago now under the Democrat Party, it was actually better under Al Capone. So it's kind of hilarious to think about that, man. Because it is true. It was better than Al Capone's ass, dude. So yeah, it's just funny. Like a dude who was just psycho and would just like beat shit out of people for no reason at all is like a better person to have in power than the current Democrat Party is. So anyway, but yeah, it says a former MLB prospect now faces federal charges after being caught with dozens of so-called ghost guns in Stark County. So here's my problem with this whole thing as well. Is even the story itself is misleading because they're, again, this is the media trying to go after quote unquote ghost guns, and what they really mean is unserialized firearms. What they really mean is privately manufactured firearms is what it is. The fact of the matter is, it's not illegal to make a so-called ghost gun, dude. It's not. What it is illegal to do is make SBRs without tax stamps because of stupid-ass fucking federal legislation that should not exist in this country right now. And yeah, when you're making barrel lengths below, I think it's like 10.5 inches. I want to say it's 10.5 inches of pin and weld is what it is then. Or 11.5 inches, something like that. I'm not even sure, honestly. It depends, because if it's like an AR pistol versus AR rifle, like that's another thing too, by the way. This is how fucking stupid NFA is entirely, dude. So I could have two different guns right now in my hand. I'm not gonna have any guns in my hand, obviously, but I could have two different guns in my hand. I could have an actual AR lower for a rifle, and I think it's like a 10.5 inch upper, or 11.5 inch, like 9.5 inch upper, something like that, 8.5 inch upper, something like that is what it would be then. That is legal on an AR pistol, by the way. All those things are legal on AR pistols because they sell them all. It's like, I think it's like 7.5 inch, 10.5 inch, stuff like that. That's what it is. And the thing is, when I put them together and click them into place and make them as a functioning firearm, now I have to have a fucking tax stamp for an SBR or I'm breaking the law. That's how fucking retarded our government is, dude. That's how fucking overreaching the bullshit is. And the real problem with the NFA entirely is you have a situation where it is a direct violation of the Fourth Amendment rights of the people's rights in the U.S. Constitution. What it is, because all it does is when you put that tax stamp in your name, etc., you are now allowing the federal government at any time that they want to kick your fucking door in without any kind of search warrant, without any kind of anything, violating your Fourth Amendment rights like fucking crazy, all because you wanted to have some fucking cool little shit is what it is. And instead of actually fighting with everyone else who wants to have that same fucking thing, you have this weird class of firearms owner in this country now, where you have these people, whether it be, Military Arms Channel, whether it be Mr. Guns and Gear, etc., out there. I know these people all have that shit is what it is, dude. Whether it be the fucking douchebags that own Black Rifle Coffee Company or Matt Best or Evan Hafer, people like that's what it is, dude. Think they're fucking better than everybody else is what it is then. They'll sit there and literally fucking, whip their dick out and shove it in their face and be like, we should totally have this with the money we fucked you out on our shitty coffee. You plebes shouldn't be able to have it at all, man, because you're just civilians. And that's the problem with military people entirely, dude, is that kind of fucking military dude, that kind of bro-vet asshole like that, dude. And I can tell you right now, like, having talked to people like Duke there in Michigan over the years and a few other vets on that one, these guys I've talked to fucking hate Black Rifle people, dude, even more than I do. And this was all before they hated them before the fucking Rittenhouse shit went down, honestly, years ago. But yeah, they were like, those guys are fucking scumbags. They are just sacks of shit. Fuck those guys. They do not present us as military vets. They're fucking some little ass wipes is what it is. They can go fuck off is what it is there. And yeah, like these are direct quotes from everybody I've talked to on that one, dude. So, needless to say, they pissed off a lot of people in the military vet community is what it is, dude. And it makes sense logically because that's what you're doing. You're being an asshole, dude. You're just fucking flaunting people's faces, be like, oh, but we're so-called military vets and ex-mercenaries and all this other bullshit. Yet we're willing to literally bend over and take in the ass by the fucking government to pay for tax stamps and shit. How much sense does that make? Right? Same thing as all the other guys I mentioned before that, whether it be Mac, whether it be Guns and Gear, etc. there. Like, bro, you think I don't want to have a bunch of SBRs? You think I don't want to have a bunch of SBSs? You think I don't want to have a bunch of fucking AOWs, etc. there? A bunch of suppressors and shit? Fuck yeah, I do. But guess what? I'm not going to sit there and fucking pay $200 goddamn dollars out of my fucking pocket extra that I don't really have to pay to begin with to get that thing. And neither should anybody else have to. Because all you fucking guys are doing out there, man, is you are helping keep a fucking 90-year-old, literally 90 years this year is what the fucking shit is now, dude, for the NFA. You're helping keeping a 90-year-old piece of bullshit legislation intact every single fucking time you file for any NFA item, whether it be a suppressor, whether it be an SBR, an SBS, whatever the case be. You are helping functionally keep a bullshit unconstitutional piece of legislation that was never intended to be a thing. It's why our founding fathers never put in the fucking thing and stuff. It's exactly why our founding fathers actually fought so hard to make the U.S. Constitution the way that they did, man. It was stuff the government couldn't infringe upon, was the literal Bill of Rights in this country. But yet every single time, these so-called 2A fucking provocateur, or I'm not provocateurs, it's not the thing I'm making. 2A gatekeepers is all I use actually on that one. These 2A gatekeeper guys like that will sit there and be like, oh no, you got to pass this test to open. We're going to open up the gate for you now. Fuck all of you, dude. That is exactly why I created Ohio Patriot Education Network. That is exactly why I created Ohio's for Firearms Freedom, etc. Was to actually be a no-compromise organizations here in Ohio that won't fucking fuck with people's rights, that will make sure that we do destroy the NFA, that we do destroy the Gun Control Act of 1968, that we do control the Hughes Amendment of 86, etc. Because we should all be able to have fucking full auto. We should all be able to have anything that we want at any given time, including but not limited to tanks with full munitions in them, planes with full munitions in them, rockets, grenades, everything else on the fucking table the U.S. military has access to, the American people should have access to, is what it is. Simple as that. End of fucking story. So yeah, if the only thing that the feds busted this guy on is making a bunch of SBRs and shit like that, and SBSs and stuff like that, dude, fuck that shit. Like, this is some Randy Weaver 2.0 shit, except it wasn't fucking Ruby Ridge is what it is, dude. Is what it sounds like here. So, anyway. This guy does have some weird looking eyes though in that mugshot though. So I don't know. Maybe he was up to something evil and shit, dude. Like I said, the fact they did not say how he was actually busting this whole thing, like if there was any kind of like state's evidence being overturned to the feds or whatever the case be by some gangbanger and shit he's maybe selling to or whatever the case be. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, as I said here, it says Stark County, Ohio. Former MLB prospect is now facing federal charges after FBI agents that they found dozens of untraceable AR-15 style guns in his North Canton home. I love how they say AR-15 style guns. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Are we talking about actual AR-15 rifles? Are we talking about AR-15 pistols? What are we talking about here now? Because that's the thing, right? Even if they had the even if it was below like that 10.5 inches or whatever the case be for like barrel lengths and shit. Like, dude, there are fucking, like, literal sites out there right now, whether it be PSA or DTT or whatever the case be, that sell 7.5-inch uppers right now, dude. So it's like, unless, like I said, unless it wasn't a functioning configuration that it would have been an SBR, only then is this man actually technically breaking the law. If it's just like an upper sitting there, and there's like a lower sitting around there that could actually be like, you know, an AR pistol lower, did nothing wrong on that one. So, anyway. But yeah, as I said here, it said Christopher McClammer, 26, was arrested last Thursday after law enforcement officials conducted a search warrant in his home and his parents' house as well. So according to the FBI, the below items were discovered in his house. It says one fully assembled AR-15 style rifle. Okay, so that's where they did bust him on. They busted him on the actual SBR. That's what it is here. Yeah, one fully assembled AR-15. Okay, so here's my problem with that, right? They say fully assembled. Dude, that shit could have been in multiple pieces. You could have literally had these little Fed fucks, which I know for a fact are Fed fucks because I've had to deal with these fucking fuckboys before. Almost 5 years ago now. Back in August of 2019 when they fucking came after me trying to be like, oh, you're threatening a presidential candidate because I said some fucking what-if scenario that happened to involve dickhead Andrew Yang, a little fucking Chi-Com fuckboy is what it is, dude. And they knew damn well that I was fucking, you know, saying what-if scenario because they actually fucking made that shit to me at the end of the fucking day when they left my house a couple hours after that. And they're like, we wasted 6 days on this. Dude, I swear to God, if I had known that's what that was going to be that day, because I thought it was going to be something else entirely with me actually catching like Antifa terrorists is what it was then. But yeah, if I knew it was going to be that shit, dude, I would have had a fucking lawyer sitting right next to me at that point. Well, not sitting right next to me, standing right next to me in the driveway is what it is there. And him literally just calling up his fucking law firm after that, or whatever the case being like, yeah, we're filing suits against these two Fed boys now. And been done with that one. Because I should literally have 2 federal pensions at this point in my bank account currently over that shit. But anyway, so yeah, they could have easily made a fucking SBR for this guy is what it is, dude. They could have just he could have had the parts sitting there and they could have literally assembled them in the fucking house and then took a picture of it and shit is what it is then. But yeah, it said he had one fully assembled AR-15 style rifle with a barrel measuring approximately 9.14 inches with a quote obliterated serial number. He also had one AR-15 style lower receiver with an obliterated serial number. Again, who's to say the feds weren't the ones scratching the serial numbers off of that shit, dude? Let's see, 10 fully assembled AR-15 rifles. Okay, so they did bust them with a bunch of SPRs, what it was then, supposedly. With barrels measuring approximately 9.14 inches, bearing no serial number. So he's basically making he's manufacturing SBRs at his house. What he was doing there on that one, it sounds like. And then we had 9 AR-15 style lowers bearing no serial numbers again. So he had one fully functioning rifle that was an SBR. You had that had a quote unquote obliterated serial number. You had one AR lower that had a obliterated serial number on it. You had 10 fully assembled AR-15 rifles that were SBRs that were actually partly manufactured firearms at that point then. Then we also had on top of that 9 lower receivers that were literally just home-built shit is what it is then. One drill press covered and surrounded in aluminum shaving, so that's when he was making the actual... It sounds to me like he possibly even bought a bunch of shit is what it was then. for like because I know you can buy like 80% kits online and shit like that's what it is, dude. It almost sounds like that's what he's doing, honestly, like just like making a bunch of 80% kits into like SBRs essentially would be then potentially. And then it says, quote, 2 Ghost Gunner brand CNC machines, both containing aluminum shavings, 25 serialized AR-15 lower receivers. That is a lot of fucking lowers, man. So it does sound like he was, it sounds to me like he was building shit for people that didn't want to have government up their asses, what it was then. And he had some that were like actual, like, it kind of makes me wonder though, like, if they would actually do like, because right here, like the 25 lowers that were actually serialized there, it makes me wonder if they actually did like, like if you were to do the background checks on those or whatever the case be, and like look into like who actually owned them and stuff, if they were all in his name or like family members' names or whatever the case be, or if it was him building friends, like essentially SBRs would be then, maybe even for that matter. Because that would make sense why you'd have like 25 lowers that actually had serial numbers on them. Is if you're building like a whole bunch of lowers for buddies and stuff like that. Anyway, continuing on here. So the safe owned by McClamor was also searched at his parents' home, and the FBI said the following items were found in the safe: 5 AR-15 style rifles, 2 short-barreled shotguns, 6 handguns, 8 suppressors, so he possibly was even doing suppressors too for that matter, 1 AK-47 style lower, and $3,000 in U.S. currency. So this dude is currently being charged with possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number, receiving or possessing an NFA firearm not registered to the processor in the NFRTR, and manufacturing a firearm in violation of NFA. Okay, so here's my problem with that, right? So this motherfucker has like 19 unserialized lowers, 10 of which are SBRs at the time when they supposedly busted him at this point. How is he not getting like 10 of these charges? So, like, that's what I don't understand. Like, wouldn't that be like a stackable charge? Like the same thing, like 10 times over is what it would be then, man? Like, that's what makes no sense to me at all. It's like, so you're busting him for like multiple felonies, obviously, is what it is here. Like, one obviously being like destroying of serial numbers and stuff like that. And then receiving or possessing NFA firearm not registered with the people is what it is, which I'm guessing would be probably that first rifle there would be my guess, honestly, with the obliterated serial number on it then. And then manufactured firearm in violation of NFA. So I would think, honestly, though, you think about it, right? Because like we're saying, with these 25 serialized lowers here, like, wouldn't this also be a charge if none of them actually belonged to him? If they were all like possibly like stolen or, you know, like quote unquote given to him, but it were in his possession at the time of his arrest or whatever the case be. So you could basically tack on like 25 extra charges theirs would be essentially then, if they're all owned by different people and shit. So I don't know. Like there's a lot of shady shit with this fucking whole story, man. Is what it sounds like, honestly. And like I said, like there's a lot that just bothers me here is what it is. But yeah, like so basically what it sounds like is this guy was basically had multiple CNC machines and a drill press and was basically saying, fuck the government. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. And yeah, was literally just building fucking guns. Who's to say what he was building those guns for? Like I said, could have been selling them off to fucking street gangs, could have been, you know, getting ready for something and just basically being like, hey, like, and that's possibly also like got busted. Him being like some dude that was like, hey, you guys want to buy a gun? And they're like, what kind of gun? He's like, oh, I got an AR, but it's like, you know, an SBR, but without a tax stamp, whatever the case be. And people were like, maybe. So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to risk it, honestly, personally, just because of the way everything's going right now and just how fucked everything is. I'd prefer to be the guy that, you know, fights, you know, on camera, in front of everything and stuff like that, being like, no, I'm going to help destroy this motherfucker right to your face kind of thing is what it is. Not some dude doing some criminal shit in the background that's currently criminal is what it is. And, you know, kind of fucking around and finding out kind of shit is what it would be then, man. So that's my personal thing about it is what it would be. But yeah, the whole thing just bothers me, like I said, though. It's just, it just seems very scummy in general, man. And it definitely feels like a way for the feds to just fuck your ass is what it is, man. So, anyway. But yeah, finishing up the rest of that story, though, because there was a couple more lines. Here's what it is. It said that guy had his initial court appearance in federal court this past Monday. So Ohio State Highway Patrol troopers, FBI, ATF, Stark County Safe Streets Task Force, Canton Police, and the Midway DEA all assisted in the investigation. Jesus, dude. So you had 3 different alphabet agencies involved in this. You had the ATF, the FBI, and the DEA, as well as local Canton cops, Ohio State Highway Patrol, and the Stark County Safe Streets Task Force, which would be basically what Vic Mackey and those guys were in the Shield. I forget what they called their little team, or it'd be like almost like a Scorpion unit there in Tennessee that killed Tyree Nichols and stuff. Actually, they're not going around killing people, is what it is, though. Yet. So, anyway, I got to make that joke, man, just because it's funny. You know, you gotta throw it in there, man. Obviously, not the joke that, man was murdered there in Tennessee, but the fact that you have, like, these scumbag ass people who shouldn't be cops that are cops right now is what it is. So, anyway, that being said, got to do some stuff later today, so gonna finish eating this bacon that I made a little bit ago. It's nice and cooled down now, and looks like the most of the grease is sort of soaked into it. That be the case, so gonna finish that. Gonna eat this Danish with it and stuff like that, and hang out with my uncle later. It'll be see what's up with that, and see if we're gonna go do anything for my birthday or not. Like go get something to eat or something later for like lunch or dinner or something maybe, or whatever the case be, or maybe go see my mom or something for a few minutes or something maybe. So, but yeah, it is what it is, man. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, I thought the story was interesting enough to talk about because it almost seems like people are doing fishing expeditions at this point and just trying to find something is what it is. And it seems like in this case, they may have actually found something, but at the same time, it does make you wonder, like, the fact that there was like no big thing about like, hey, like, how did they actually bust this guy? Like that I would love to know the rest of that story, honestly, man. Because like I said, was it him actually selling to gangbangers or not? Or was it just him like randomly selling to like friends and family members and stuff like that? And one of them people were like, "Oh, that's not cool, bro. That's totally illegal and stuff like that." And then fucking probably wasn't even that person, honestly, that did it. It was probably like some fucking Karen ass mom's man action bitch or something like that. Overheard the conversation and didn't mind her own goddamn business. And then got on the phone and was like, "Hey cops, hey feds, my cousin's fourth cousin just said he was making illegal SBRs. Go and bust him now," and give him like information of what it is or something. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some shit like that, honestly, dude. Or hell, given how fucked up our country is right now and how, it seems like phones are listening to everything we say anymore. And like, hell, we talked about Honda's chat last night. You had fucking LG smart laundry washers and stuff like that, like actual clothes washers. I'm trying to think what it's called now. Yeah, it would actually be a washer that apparently has access to the internet and is like spiking like, almost 4 gigs of shit in a 24 hours period. And it's like, is your motherfucking clothes machine listening to you? Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, seriously, it's fucked up, man. And it could be something like that, honestly, where it was just him being dumb and, fucking, NDAA bullshit they keep re-upping every year is what it seems like anymore. Illegal search and seizure, stuff like that is what it is. For the National Defense Authorization Act crap. Where you can illegally detain American citizens. Hell, they could walk into my house right now, put a fucking black bag over my head while the stream is going, yank my ass out into a fucking vehicle, and take me off to a black site somewhere and never heard from again is what it is then. That's a scary fact, man. Like, that shit the feds can do right now underneath that BS legislation that should never be passed. And remember, Congress is not know that right now. Should be literally charged with high treason currently for even re-upping that ever is what it is, dude. So, yeah, fuck all these people is what it is, man. We really do need to primary everybody in 2024 here and be done with it, man. Just start fresh. Have way less people in office after that, if that be the case then. And do what needs to be done there. So, anyway. That's about it for today. I will be back tomorrow for an actual birthday stream. That'll be, belated birthday, obviously. Where if I get anything today for gifts or anything like that, that's cool. I'll show those off on camera then, if that'd be the case then, for Buckshot Thursday. And hopefully we can get Corey back on the stream one of these days. I know we had a talk the other day, and yeah, he's not doing the greatest right now. And I don't disagree with it, man. Like, you're sad because your kid had to leave again back to his other state where he's living currently because you don't have actual custody of him yet, is what it is. So, that's pretty much why Corey hasn't been on a lot of chats recently from what he told me the other day. So, he's just getting in kind of a funk, is what it is. I think this is also around the time that his mom passed a couple years ago. So, RIP to her and his family and stuff like that. We're keeping him in our prayers, obviously, because we love the guy. He's become a really good friend to me, honestly. Some might say a best friend, honestly. But anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I'll be back. I will be back for sure tomorrow for Buckshot Thursday. I don't know if Corey will be joining me or not. I'll throw a couple links to some of the people too, like Muffin Top and Leo and shit. So if they would want to jump on or not, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, other than that, that's it for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm hoping to find more about this story. If I can find more about this story, actually, or if I am able to get like some court records and stuff like that after they finish arraigning this guy and actually charging him and sentencing him and stuff like that. Like if there's like an actual dump I could get or something like that from like maybe a FOIA request or something like that. I might try to do that if that'd be the case then. So because I would just like, that's the thing for my own personal thing. I just want to know how they fucking caught this guy. Is what it is, dude. Like, was it some bitch fucking Karen out there that's some anti-gunner? Or was it him like legit like dealing to fucking gangs and shit like that, and the gangs happen to get caught and fucking turn his ass over or something, dude? Because it's like there's so many unanswered questions in this whole situation there of how the feds were able to get the search warrant to bust his ass. That I'm just like, I want to know more, and I think other people do too, for that matter. And that's the thing. Like for me personally, it's my inquisitive mind like that. I'm like, I just want to know more. Like, how the fuck did this guy get busted for this shit, dude? Like, what the hell? Kind of thing is what it is. So anyway, but yeah, I'll try to find more on this if I can, but I don't know if I'll be able to or not, or if this will be just it for now, so it'll be. So, anyway. But, anyway, other than that, though, we will see you guys tomorrow for Buckshot. We'll also do Friday stream on here for Freedom Friday, so, come back to the new home of our Patriot Education Network, because, unfortunately, our main account right now is in a flux of both channel strike and me having issues getting logged back into is what it is. So, yeah, it's the whole thing, man. But anyway, other than that, though, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all on the next one. Have a great day. I know I will for my 39th birthday. It'll be an interesting day, obviously. I already had a pretty good day right now, actually, because we, as of 8 a.m. this morning, or actually about just before 9 a.m. this morning, my main region won. Lines we cross, baby. And we got all the things. We got all the keys and all the long range things and all the fucking flasks and everything. So good times ahead. I'll tell you what, man. By the way, we're also going to take second in the for the season as of about, what is it, 7 p.m. is the reset, so it'd be Thursday, I believe. So it'd be tomorrow night then. So yeah, it'd be about, let's see, 11:30. About 31 and a half hours from now. A little bit under that, actually. Just over 31 hours from now. Whenever reset takes place here tomorrow for Thursday, we will get our second place rewards on that one. So should be fun. Officially, we have seen the two clans shift each other, is what it is right now. We have Hale on our coalition now, and we have DFA going over to theirs. So, and there's a bunch of people that have jumped into my clan right now to get rewards. There's a bunch of people have jumped into Hellhounds to get rewards. And there's still like 50 something in DFA right now, almost 60. So I'm not sure if they're going to just stay there for the next, 24 hours or so if they're going to try to do like some cooldown in the next 12 hours or something. Here's what it is. And then jump in before, final rewards are given or whatever the case be then. Because honestly, I feel like if they were part of the overall taking of everything this season and stuff, they should be entitled to that second place rewards. Whereas the people that are in Hale right now that jumped over here, I mean, technically some of them could be entitled to it too, but like at the same time, it's like, I guarantee there's like some dead weight here and there. That's the thing. I noticed Megan recently. It seemed like anybody that was gone for over like 2 days or something like that, she's like, all right, get the fuck out of here. You didn't, and I think it was most people who didn't help us at all is what it was. She's like, yeah, you guys haven't done shit this season for us. Fuck you, you're getting no rewards here, et cetera, et cetera. So, but yeah, like I don't blame her for that one because I think unfortunately a lot of the times the people that aren't really doing much of anything on this thing, it's fucking stupid that they're not, honestly, because it's like, it's cost beneficial for us to actually have these people helping us do stuff for the season. And the thing is, at the end of the season, they're actually getting rewarded for everybody's work anyway. So it's like, dude, just help out a little bit. You can actually be successfully in there. And then you can not only have that, but you can actually upgrade your shit more is what it is then. So, yeah, it'd be nice to see that happen, honestly. I also really wish they'd bring back flasks in future seasons because I know that they did at one point for the rewards for, I think it was exchanging merit and stuff. Well, it wasn't really exchanging merit, but it was for your merit stuff or whatever in there. So, yeah, hopefully that'll happen and stuff, but I don't know. But anyway, it's a whole thing right now. But yeah, that being said, I am right now to a point where pretty sure I'm still top 700 in every account right now. So that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Is having all my stuff there done and being able to get that all done, obviously. And if we can get that all done and keep it all good to go and stuff like that, we're all better off as it is then. So, and then with the season end rewards, obviously I'm going to build up Governor as high as possible in every account. Hopefully getting that pretty close to 5 stars is what it is then. And then between upcoming Strongest Survivor events and then eventually now getting daily universal fragments, I could always put those towards them too as well. So it's pretty much, if I can get like 20 or 25 or 30 or whatever the case be throughout every single day of the thing is what it is there. Which I can't usually get 30, honestly. I can usually get about 25 to 27 somewhere in there, depending on what I'm doing, obviously. Like at least guaranteed 20 anyway. So potentially like 20 of those, times X amount or whatever the case be. Eventually we can get him over the hump is what it is then. And then if we actually have a 5-star governor, that's awesome, obviously. And then we can actually start building him into a 6-star eventually is what it is then with the fragments and shit then. So I noticed today, actually, one of the guys that we fought in the other region for the Lingerie Cross event, he had sharpshooter formations as T10s, and it was a tyrant formation with Governor, Negan, and Pamela that were like 6.5 stars, something like that. So, yeah, definitely a pay-to-win guy, I can tell you that right now. But unfortunately, we'll have that a lot is what it is. People just pay to get ahead is what it is, man. So, not much to do about that, honestly, except, keep grinding away and hopefully you can eventually catch up with what it is then. Because eventually, the thing about it is, man, like, until they would, add extra stars and stuff like that, everybody gets maxed at 120, man. So it's like, I'm already like 108, bro. Like, I'm catching up, motherfuckers. So it's like, yeah, it's a whole thing, man. But obviously, that's for my main trio. It's not for all of them. It's like 102, 104, something like that for a lot of the other ones. But anyway, yeah. That being said, though, we'll probably do a gaming stream actually tomorrow too, for that matter. On either this channel or probably the Lily channel actually, who will be on there, and we'll discuss various stuff. We'll actually probably do it after rewards are given out tomorrow is what it is then, so we know exactly what we'll get then, and then we can basically just go from there. And if I'm able to actually show stuff on stream again, because I know it didn't work at first to begin with the other day, and then it started working like halfway through the stream as it was then. If I can do that, I'm obviously going to show, content on stream then, and I'll actually show you guys exactly how I'm building up characters and stuff like that is what it is then. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to Season 8 too, because I'm not sure if we're going to do like a 5v5 or maybe it's like a 6v6, and if that'd be the case in the future then. but I'm guessing that'll start here in probably like another, I don't know, couple weeks, month maybe. So it all depends on exactly when these other regions get finished with their stuff, and then it's when the final region gets finished with their stuff. It's like a day or two after that is when we get repaired and stuff for the next season, and then we have that whole tower. I forget that game is called now. It's like Rise of Tensions or something, where you're just like shooting other people's towers with like bullets, and then you're building your own up is what it is then. So I'm sure we're gonna have another one of those then going into that whole thing. Turns out that 2024 thing I was talking about yesterday actually is it's just another thing like they've done before with other events like that for like Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, stuff like that. That's what it does then. Easter, etc. Where it's just like every single day you have like X amount of things you have to do, whatever the case be. And it gives you just various things for it. You can get obviously long ranges, short ranges, keys, etc., there. Which I really wish they'd just stop giving short ranges because they're just such a fucking worthless act. Especially unless you're gonna do like a pack of short ranges, dude, like where it's like 5 or 10. Like a single one of those is a slap in the fucking face. You could be giving me an actual long range transmission instead of a short range transmission. So anyway, but yeah, it just pisses me off a little bit, man. But anyway, that being said, that's what we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I will be back tomorrow. Like I said, with Buckshot Thursday. We'll be back on Friday with Freedom Friday. Most likely be back tomorrow night. A gaming stream on the Little Anarchy channel. And yeah, until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Later.